Hi, Dr. Purdy. So this is a second grade science lesson on what plants need to grow. It's designed to be part of a unit plan on energy. During the lesson, the students are going to watch a 2-minute video on what plants need to grow. And then we are going to take a look at these two little bean plants. And the students are going to complete a lab worksheet where they will record questions, formulate a hypothesis, make a plan for testing their hypothesis. They are going to collect data. Now, the data is going to be collected over a period of 5 days, so this won't be a once and done 1 day lesson. And then they are going to record their findings. So, hi friends, how are you today? Great, it's good to see you guys. Yes, Riley Ann. You see the plants up here. You're right. These little bean plants. Well, we talked today about starting our investigation about what plants need to survive, right? Right. Yes, Owen. You have a plant that looks like this at home, but it's bigger. Yeah, these are like little baby bean plants. These are small. Great. Is the one that you have at home surviving pretty well? Does it kind of look like this, but just a lot bigger? Has bigger leaves? Okay, do you ever help take care of it? Sometimes? Awesome. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to watch a 2-minute video on what plants need to grow. This is going to be one of those music videos, kind of like we've seen before. So if you guys want to sing along, you can. If you want to get out of your chair and bounce around a little bit, move around, you can, but just stay by your desks, okay? All right, during this video, they are going to talk about 4 different things that plants need to survive. So I want you guys to pay attention to those 4 things and try to remember them. And when we're done, we're going to make a list of them up on the board, okay? All right, so here we go.
Water, nutrients, sunlight, and air. That's what plants need everywhere. Water, nutrients, sunlight, and air. That's what plants need everywhere. Plants need water, water, water to help move the nutrients to the stems and leaves. Plants need nutrients, nutrients, nutrients to help the plant grow healthy and strong. Plants need sunlight, sunlight, sunlight gives energy and warmth for the plant to survive. Plants need air, air, air. Air helps the plant to make its own food. Water, nutrients, sunlight, and air. That's what plants need everywhere. Water, nutrients, sunlight, and air. That's what plants need everywhere. Plants are so important all over the earth. So many things we eat come from a plant first. Plants give us paper. Plants give us clothes. Plants give us the air we breathe. Now you know. Water, nutrients, sunlight, and air. That's what plants need everywhere.
Okay.
Let's be friends. Place your mouth on my
video here. Okay, there we go. So what do you guys think of the video? I could tell you were bopping around a little to the tune. Did that help you to remember any of those 4 things that plants need to survive? Okay, so there's 4 things, right? So who can tell me what one of the things are? Riley Ann. Water, very good. Water. Okay. Anybody else? Plants need water. What else do they need? Jameson. Air. Okay, they need water and air. 2 more things. You guys are doing good. Madsen. Sunlight. You are correct. Okay, and one more. Anybody remember? Oh, and nutrition. You're right. They need nutrients. They need food. Okay, nutrients. Good job. So, up here we have these two little bean plants. So these bean plants to survive need water, air, sunlight, and nutrients. So what do you think? Look at these bean plants. They both look pretty healthy. Yeah. They're small. They're little baby bean plants. They look healthy, right? The leaves are green. How do we know they're healthy? They're both the same size, so they look like they're about the same, right? So what could we, are there nutrients? Where are the nutrients? Nutrients are in the soil. They're getting nutrients from the soil. They both have the soil in the pots. So what else? Sunlight? Well, right now where they are, we have some sunlight coming in the windows, but we're not real close to the windows. But I've been keeping them pretty close to the windows. So they've been getting pretty much sunlight. So what else? What else do they need? Air? How are they getting air? Riley Ann, you're right. Air is everywhere. It's all around here. So we don't have to worry about that part. And one more thing. Water. Here. Feel the soil. See if you think the soil feels wet. Does it feel damp at all? A little bit wet? Cool maybe? Not really. No. And you know why that is? Because I haven't given them water for a few days. But I did water them when I first got them. Okay, which was just a few days ago. So, we need to come up with an experiment to test about these plants to determine what they truly need to grow. So what can we control? Let's see, well, they already have air. They have the soil that has nutrients. Sunlight, we can control pretty easily. We can take them away from the sun. We could hide them under something to make it really dark. We could control the sun by, we could put them out by the window, and then when it's a sunny day, we're going to get the sun from outside, right? Water, water's pretty easy. We can either water them or we don't water them, right? Okay. So at your desk, you each have a lab worksheet. Does anybody need a pencil? Okay, here you go. Owen, Jameson, there's some pencils. Okay. So we have this lab worksheet. So the first thing we're going to do is come up with a question. What can we question about these plants? Does anybody have any questions about these plants? No? Okay, well, we're going to talk about what they need to survive here. So, and we want to conduct an experiment to not only, use what we know to come up with an answer, but we actually want to see it happen, right? So what do we need to do? How about we come up with a question that would be, what would happen if one of the plants didn't receive water or sunlight? What do you think? What would happen if one of the plants didn't receive water or sunlight? That's a pretty good question. Okay. So, part A of your lab worksheet, it says ask questions. What questions did you have about the plant? So how about we all write down something like, what would happen if if one plant didn't have water or sunlight? All right, so here you go. What would happen if one plant didn't have water or sunlight? So everybody write down as your question, okay? So that's the start. Okay, everybody good? All right, any questions so far? Besides this question? No? Okay. All right, part B, formulate a hypothesis. So who remembers what a hypothesis is? We talked about this a couple days ago. Hypothesis. So it says formulate a hypothesis, finish a sentence. If I cover and do not water plant 2, the plant will blank. So what's a hypothesis? A hypothesis is kind of figuring out what would happen, like a prediction based on what you already know. So you might already know something about what might happen if we don't give a plant water and sunlight from something that you saw at home. Maybe a plant that's inside your house, outside your house. We just watched a video and it told you what plants need to survive. So that can kind of give you an idea of what will happen if they don't have some water and some sunlight, right? So based on what we know, we're going to come up with a prediction. So if I cover and do not water plant number 2, this guy here, if I cover him and don't water him, the plant will, what's going to happen? What do you think? You guys can talk amongst yourselves there, come up with some ideas, let me know. Yes. You think the plant will die? Good hypothesis. Riley Ann, what do you think? You think it just won't grow? That could be. Good. Anybody else have any other ideas? Okay, well, those were really good ideas. So how about each of you write down under part B, if I cover, do not water the plant 2, the plant will, if you want to put not grow, die, I put the plant will not grow. Okay. Everybody have that? All right. Now we need to come up with a plan to test our hypothesis. So we have to come up with a way to figure out what would happen. And in order to do that, we have to test the hypothesis by saying, hey, if I don't cover and water that, it's not going to grow, so what do we have to do? We have to cover it and not water plant number 2. Now plant number 1, what are we going to do? If we're going to compare the 2 plants, one of them we're not going to maybe take care of so well, the other one we're going to give it water and sunlight? Yeah, I think we should. All right, so how do we test the hypothesis? List the materials needed to test the hypothesis. All right, guys. So plant number 1 is going to receive sunlight and water. So to test the hypothesis, we need sunlight. Write this down under the materials. We need water. What do we need for number 2? We don't need water, right? We don't need sunlight. We probably have to cover it. Cover it. How are we going to cover it? With a box? Okay, so maybe we need a box. All right, anybody think of any other materials we might need? No? All right. Well, if we come up with any others that we need, we can fill that in, okay? All right, and then we have to list the steps to be performed. So how are we going to conduct this experiment? So, steps to be performed. How about you guys turn and talk and see if you can come up with a plan. We need a plan for caring for plant 1 and plant 2. And we also need a way to track their progress. Now, just so you guys know, we're going to monitor their progress over 5 days. And if you look at Part D, collect data of your lab worksheet, you can see that we are going to record the height, of the plant, number of leaves, and color of leaves for both the plants every day. It's the same, we have a chart up here that we're going to fill in every day. So that will probably give you a clue as to what steps need to be performed. So think about that for a little bit, and then when you're done, let me know what you come up with, okay? You can write it down on your paper. That's fine. Or you can write it on the back of your paper if you want to. All right? Okay. You got it. You guys are fast. You guys are super fast. You do a good job working together. That's great. So, okay, list steps to be performed. Go ahead, Owen. Tell me your ideas here. Okay. And everybody can write them down. And if you want, I can write them down first, and then we can write them down together just to make sure you get them all right. List steps to be performed. Okay. So what do you think? What do we have to do? All right. Cover plant 2 with a box. All right. That's step number 1. It's good. Step number 2. That's okay. You could, if it's, you know what? I bet it's a really good idea. And if it might be a little wrong or we got to tweak it a little, that's okay too. But you can go ahead and share. Absolutely. Okay. So, water plant number 1 every day. Okay. Now, do you have plants at home? Yeah. Do you water them every day? Do you know? Does your mom and dad water them every day? Some days. What do they do to determine if they need water? What did we do earlier with these plants to determine if they were thirsty or not? If they had water or not? Touch the soil. Right. So we might not have to water them every day, but we should check them every day and give them water as needed. Okay? So maybe for step 2, we should check plant number 1 every day to see if it needs to be watered, and then water it as necessary, right? So you could just put water as necessary, but check daily, right? Okay, step number 3. What's step number 3? Keep, you got it, you're right. You guys are doing awesome. Keep plant number 1 on the windowsill. And that is perfect place. If it's sunny out, it'll get lots of sun. And that is perfect. Okay. Then what else do we have to do? Okay, so that's how we're going to care for the plants. But how are we going to track progress? What kind of changes do you think we might notice? Something with height? Number of leaves? In case I lose leaves? Color of the leaves. Right. So go ahead to your lab worksheet, part D, collect data. Pick the second pager. You'll notice there's day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Today is day 1. And then we have plant number 1, plant number 2. Height of plant, number of leaves, color of leaves. Just like up here. Plant number 1 and 2 for each of 5 days. Height of plant, number of leaves, color of leaves. We are going to record this data every day for these 2 plants. And then after 5 days are up, we are going to look at them, note what we have found based on the data and our observations, and then we are going to do a compare and contrast between the plants. Okay? But for now, we need to determine for day 1 the height of the plant. Well, how do we determine the height of the plant? We need the height of plant 1 and plant 2. What do we need to do? Nobody knows? How do you figure how tall this thing is? You measure it. Right. What do you use? What are we going to use to measure it? Yardstick? They're not really that tall. What do you think we're going to use? A ruler? Yeah. Okay. So here we go. We have a ruler. So today I'm going to do this, but every day this week and next week, because this is going to go into next week, I'm going to ask for volunteers to do this every day, okay? So everybody gets to participate. Okay. So let's see, what do we got here? Can you see back there the ruler? Okay, so how tall is plant number 1? What does that look like? How many inches? 7. You got it. About 7 inches. That's close enough. Okay, what about plant number 2? That one is also about 7 inches. It's a little tough because this side is a little taller than that side. But both plants are about 7 inches tall, which is good because I tried to get 2 plants that were pretty much the same. So what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to write this up on the board. Under height, day 1, plant 1 and plant 2 are both 7 inches. 7 inches. There we go. And you can write it on your lab paper. Day 1, height of plant, 7 inches for plant 1. Height of plant, 7 inches for plant 2. So write it on there. So every day, we're going to come in and we're going to fill this out. I'm going to ask for a volunteer, maybe 2 volunteers, to complete this every day. And then we are also going to, besides having it up on the board, you're going to write it down here every day. Okay? And then we'll all have the same data by the end of the observation period, which will happen, at the end, middle of next week, we'll be done with it. Okay? Okay, number of leaves. Oh boy. Who would like to count the number of leaves on both of these plants? Need 2 volunteers. Okay? Oh, there's not that many. It won't take that long. Here, Riley Ann. Who else wants to do it? Nothing. Okay. I'll give you a couple. Take a minute. Take a minute, count the leaves. It won't take long. Oh, and right, if it was a plant like you had at home, it would probably take longer. It sounds like you have a bigger plant. I bet you have a lot more leaves on your plant. Yeah. What you got, Rylian? 33. Okay. And which plant number do you have? Okay, so plant number 1, day 1 has 33 leaves. I'm sorry, 33 in there. Okay, what you got, bud? 35. Okay, very close. All right. And color. What color are the leaves? Green. It's like a medium green. Do you see any brown? Any yellow? No, just green. Okay. Well, write that down on your paper. I'm going to write it up here. Green for Beth. Green. Green. Okay. There we go. So then we have day 1 filled out. Did everybody fill it out on your paper? Let me see. Good job. Okay, if you guys have any questions. All right. So we can't complete this then until we fill out the data for all 5 days. Okay, but then we're going to report our findings. And then we're going to do this compare and contrast worksheet where you will put, you've seen this before, called a Venn diagram. Yeah, we've used this before. Plant number 1, you're going to put things that are specific to plant 1, things that are specific to plant 2 over here, and similarities right in the middle. And then at the bottom here, you're going to put your conclusion. If you cover, don't water a plant, the plant will. And then plants need blank to grow and survive. So we're going to come up with a conclusion, but we got to wait until we're done with our observation period, our data collection period, okay? Okay, so we have these plants. What was our plan for these plants? Let's go back to part C, plan to test hypothesis. The materials needed, sunlight, water, box. We also needed what? A ruler. We can add ruler to our list. A pencil. Yep, you're right. We can put that down. You need a pencil to write down your findings, right? That's okay. Good job. All right, list steps to be performed. Well, we got to do this now, right? We are starting our testing. So, cover plant number 2 with a box. Guess what I have here, guys? A box. So, plant number 2. I'm going to cover it with a box. There we go. And it doesn't matter where we keep it because it's covered with a box. So it's not getting light and we don't want it to get light. We're not going to water it, so we don't even have to take the box off, do we? Except, why will we have to take the box off? Once a day to record observations, right? Okay, we did that. Plant number 1. Check it for water. Well, we already did. And what did we determine? It could use a drink, right? It needs some water. So, we have, what is this? A watering can. Yes, you're right. It is a Lightning McQueen Cars watering can. And it has water in it. It's not completely full, but it has some water in it. So we will give plant number 1 a little bit of water. We're not going to give it too much because it's a really small pot and we don't want water everywhere. So I'm going to give it a little bit of water. And then we're going to put it on a little plate. Where are we going to put it? What's in our plan? Over by the window on the windowsill. All right. So go ahead. I don't want water leaking out here all over the place, but if it does, it's just water. You can clean it up. Okay, here, Riley Ann, could you please do me a favor and go put this over on the windowsill? There's a plate over there on that desk, and you can set it on that, and that way it doesn't get water everywhere when you water it, okay? Because there's little holes in the bottom of the pot. Water will come out a little bit if it filters through the soil and it doesn't absorb it all. It'll come out. You guys have probably seen that happen before. Yeah, it makes a mess. But that's okay too, because like I said, it's just water. Okay. Well, that's it for today, guys. Does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, great. Well, tomorrow morning, who would like to be in charge of recording observations tomorrow? How about 2 of you work together? And that way, like when you measure them, you can kind of check each other and make sure you're on the same page, okay? So there's no questions. Okay. Madsen. And who else? Need one more volunteer. Owen. Okay, great. So tomorrow morning, you guys are going to fill out number 2. And then we'll go from there. All right. So keep your lab papers safely in your science folder. Don't want to lose them because you're going to need them every day. And then we're going to need them after we're done with our experiment, okay? All right. You guys did a great job today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Bye, guys. See ya.